Okay, we're ready to go. Well, thank you all for coming here to see us and to meet Anette and talk to Anette. And I know we're taking you away from all these rooms that are playing the Eagles and Diana Krall and the same tracks in every room that I go to, and it drives me crazy. So we're going to talk about something else here. So we'll introduce ourselves, because this is all like self-help, okay? Okay, so my name is Michael Fremer. I'm the editor of trackingangle.com, and I write for The Absolute Sound. And I've been doing this for many years. And I do want to thank you all for coming, because I know it's a very busy show. And we're going to have a very good discussion, I'm sure. And this is Anette. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Anette Askvik.
My name is Sigve Håland. I'm running a vinyl plant in Stavanger, helping Anette out with her records.
So essentially, you took this project and made sure that it sounded great and made sure the pressing was good. It was your responsibility?
Yes, that was my responsibility.
Yeah.
We were trying to take the sound to another level, trying to do it even better than it has been before. So together with, of course, Scott Hull and good people around us, we, in my opinion, succeed.
Yeah. I'll be the judge of that. I'm the critic. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you become the brand ambassador for the show? How did that happen?
So Hegel Music System introduced me to the Highend Society. I thought that I was only going to come and visit and sign some vinyls. So I'm very happy to be here as the brand ambassador.
I mean, a lot of very distinguished people have preceded you, you know. None that were particularly attractive. You'll make up for that. So was that being sexist? I don't think so. I think it was fine. So you originally made a record called Liberty in 2011. It's 2025. And you said back then, whatever happened to Liberty? And so how did you know what was going to happen in 2024 in the United States? How did you know? Oh, I brought politics into that. I'm not supposed to, but it was a joke.
Yes, sadly, this song has been relevant all this time. And it's becoming even more relevant every year, I think. And yeah, it's a crazy world. I'm sad on behalf of human race. I think I definitely believe in us. I really do think that we can change, but we really have to do that.
Yes, because your next record's not going to be called "Why I'm in Jail," right? That's right. And musicians and music is one of the great change things that changes things. It's just music, right? Now, are you working on another record at this point?
I am, yes. I'm writing songs that I feel are very important to share, so I'm very much looking forward to it. They are kind of just running through me at the moment.
Now, this record sounds incredible. I mean, the first record was sonically superb to begin with. And so obviously you care about sound, because if you didn't really care that much about sound, you would have made a record that would have had great songs, but it wouldn't have sounded that good, which is what a lot of records come out sounding like. Where did your interest in sound reproduction come from?
So I think that I'm kind of into details in different areas of life. I really like to pay attention to the small details that aren't really that small. And the same with sound, that of course music always comes first. It's what has to be said, and that's the most important thing.
Sure.
But yeah, of course I like it to sound good as well. And we did the first vinyl in 2020. Yeah, I was really happy with that. But then there was some small improvements that I wanted to be done. And the vinyl plant, in the beginning, they answered me kindly. And after a while, they were like, oh, who is this person? And And I didn't really, we didn't get there. They kind of just told me to, there's nothing more we can do.
Now, this is the special edition for the show. It's at 45 RPM, so it's going to have certain advantages to be spinning at a faster speed, but you can get fewer tracks on here. So you've got a few tracks from your original record in 2011, which is when you engineered it, and then you produced some new tracks. And are these new tracks going to be on a standard 33 1/3 coming out, or is this just for this show?
So all my vinyls, including the one from 2020, has been in 45 RPM. But then I found out that there's this great vinyl plant in my hometown. So we decided to try on the latest album, Lyden av snø, to press it in at tea time. And it sounded really great. And he's as picky as me, so it wasn't a problem at all.
So this is first in your hometown.
Yes. Yeah.
That's convenient. Then you could stop at the pressing plant every day and bother them if it wasn't coming out good. You didn't have to fly any place or make any phone calls. You just show up at the door, right? Did she make a lot of trouble, or was she good?
Not really. It went very well from the start. But I understood from the start that we needed to do something extra. So we did in all kind of way. So it was just a matter of trying to find people that wanted to work with you, and I contacted Scott Hull, especially for this edition.
What made you choose Scott, who I know, for a long time?
I've heard some of his records, and also I've listened to his podcast. So I've been following him, and when I started up the plant, I sent him an email from the start. So this was kind of circle. So and then he also has this vision that he wants to work very close with the artists to get the music through, and that is a very important stage to agree on what is the most important thing you want to pop out of the record.
So did test acetates go back and forth across from New York to your hometown for you to listen to, or how did that work?
First, he cut it, this record first. We did several, and there was some issue with this one, so we needed another one. So we did some test pressings, and we use a stamper disc in Sheffield, as they are extremely good with the plating.
By where?
Stamper disc in Sheffield, UK.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So that is also a very important part of the process.
Sure, that's critical.
Yeah. When we got the test press, we compared it to what has been done before, and we just knew.
And so, how long are the sides of this record? They're not terribly long. How long do they run?
They're like under 10 minutes, I think, around 10 minutes.
So that's not too difficult to cut as far as time goes. You don't have to squeeze it in because there's plenty of open space on the side of a record for 10 minutes.
That's true, but we did the same with the albums. So we have also
3 albums.
All 3 albums. So did it with Scott Hull as well.
I see.
So and these are albums that are made for sound. So there are like 3 songs on each side normally, and it's 45 RPM. So yes, it's easier to cut, but other has also done that work. Not so great.
Yeah. Now, the source of this recording, was this a digital recording or was it tape?
It's a digital recording, yes. Mm.
It proves that digital recordings can sound good on vinyl. I proved it by a record I released that was digitally recorded, and people got on my case for it, and it sounds great. And there's a case to be made for taking a digital recording and making it into a record. There's a certain quality that records have that's very pleasing to the ears, and that makes it work. And correct? You're in that camp?
Yes.
Good. I'm in that camp too. And the vinyl formulation is standard final formulation?
Yeah, it is. I don't know what you mean by formulation, but the vinyl that we used is Italian PVC. It's 180 grams. This is a PVC that works very good with our machines. We have tried like 5 different types of plastic.
Wow.
But this one is perfect, and it's quieter, and it's also easier to get good results with for our part.
So let's talk about you going into the recording studio to record a record. You've been in a studio numerous times. Do you enjoy that process of being in a studio and recording, or is it difficult for you?
So I actually have my home studio at the moment, and it doesn't qualify for studio, but
You did it in your kitchen? Is that what you're saying?
in my living room, yeah.
While you were eating breakfast?
But I love to be able to go and record the vocals whenever I want. And then I can just spend as much time as I want to and do it whenever I feel like it. Sometimes even when I write it, it feels like I just want to do it now and then, you know.
Because there's no budget involved, right? Because the clock isn't running and you're not paying for it. It's in your house.
Yeah, that's one thing. And also, it's not just that. It's when you are in a studio with other people, you also have to, you know, think about the others, their time. And yeah, there's a lot of things about you really have to get it when you're there. But when you can just, you know, yeah.
So the backing tracks were recorded in a studio, and then you took the backing tracks home and then recorded the vocals overdubbing.
Are you talking about Liberty now?
Where there's other musicians involved.
So it's different, but what we did with Liberty is different from what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So
What are you doing now?
So right now I'm in my living room and I'm writing the songs, and I'm also recording the vocals there, as I did for my latest albums. And of course, we also go into a studio to record.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do that too.
Now, when you write songs, do you write them on piano or guitar? What's your process?
Yeah, that's very different. Like one of the songs on Liberty, we were in Øystein Sævåg, who produced the album. We recorded a lot of this album in his house. And I was going to the bathroom and I got stuck on one of these hangers. And it made this really cool sound. And it was like an octave, so it went like bling, bling. It was
Okay,
like,
wait, I got to interrupt you. How do you get stuck on a hanger?
Yeah, I know.
Can you explain that? Or
I think my sweater was like stuck on it or something. And I was just playing on this. And then, this melody came. That was You Shoot Me, actually.
Well, that's interesting. But most of the time, you don't write on a hanger. Oh, I know. I'll come up with another good song. I'll hang myself, and then another good song will come out. You don't do that. So what do you use an instrument to compose a song?
I do play the piano.
Okay.
Yeah.
It took a lot to get that out of you, but I'm glad I did. All right. And then when you have an arrangement, who does the arrangements? Somebody you work with?
Yes, so that's different. Like some of it I do, and the other musicians that I work with. And if it's like on the latest album, we had orchestra, and that was Øystein Sævåg who did the arrangements for that. So yeah, and also I work with this very fun. It's these instruments made of steel that looks like spaceships. And there are like 4, they are called Stahl cellos. So it's so much fun you can do.
And when the inspiration comes to you to write a song, you could be doing anything. You could be cooking or walking or hanging, whatever, and an inspiration comes. Do you have to write it down or you'll forget it? How do you do that? Some people have to write it down.
Yeah, I mean, I do record a lot of melodies on my phone while I get an idea, and then afterwards I'm like, what was this? But with the lyrics, I write them down, and often if I get an idea for a lyric, I will be all obsessed till it's done, and then when it's done, I just feel like, yeah, now it's done.
That's
I'll
good.
just go like that for a day or for 2 days, and it'll be like all the time. Yeah.
So, dare I ask you what your stereo is at home? is that an improper question to ask somebody? Like,
So I do have key 7s that I work on. I just got them quite recently, but I'm extremely happy with them.
and you have a turntable, I hope?
I do, but don't ask me. Yeah, I did check because I thought that might come up.
Yes, I'm asking. I want to know the cables. I want to know the power conditioners. I want to know no.
I mean, you guys should know the kind of cables that we use in studios. Like, they're falling apart.
A lot of studio cables are falling apart.
Yeah, a lot of studio cables are.
And a lot of the studios say it doesn't make any difference. And then you bring some good cables in and then they go, oh, it made a difference. But we can't say it in public because we get humiliated by the people who say cables don't make any difference. I know those people, some of those people. So you don't want to go into any more detail. You don't want to talk about the phono cartridge in your turntable, right? You don't want to do that.
What is that? It's my next question.
That's the needle. The needle. You know what brand needle you have?
I don't.
Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The end result is you play the record on your needle and it sounds good.
Yeah.
So that's all that matters. And you played it on a good needle, I'm sure.
Yeah, we have like a listening room at the plant, which is provided mostly by Electro Company, which is a local stereo producer. They are here. And also we had a Sono Faber speakers. So yeah, we listen to the records when we press them. We just don't check them for errors. Yeah. We listen to the music in a listening room, which is perfect for sound.
And this is not a one-step record. It's a standard 3-step record, correct?
Yeah, it's a 3 steps.
So you can press as many as you want to press and not worry that your stamper is going to go bad and then you got to start over again, right?
Yeah. What we did with this one is we do 700 run and then we change stampers, and then we do 700 more and then we change stampers.
That's a good conservative number. 5 to 700 is a good number.
Yeah.
And what about the thickness of the record, the weight of the record? What did you press? This is a 180 or a 140?
This is 180.
180. Mm-hmm. There's some controversy about what's the best thickness. Some people say 140, some people say 180. What do you think?
I think it doesn't really matter if it's 140 or 180.
It's harder to press a good 180, a quiet 180, than it is to press a quiet 140 because the vinyl has to spread over the stamper, and sometimes it starts hardening before it gets spread, and then you get non-fill and noise.
Yeah, that could be an issue, but it depends a little bit on the machine as well. How are your molds? And also, some people tell me the opposite, that they are struggling getting 180 records flat, for example. And it depends on the machines.
And what machines are they using in the pressing plant that this was pressed on? You know?
This is pressed on Viral Tech's Canadian machines.
So they're fairly new machines.
Yeah, the machines is from 2019.
Yeah.
Yes, and the thing with those machines is the hydraulic is adjustable, so you can adjust the pressure more manually than you can with many other machines, which in my opinion makes it, you can go more into details with the pressing.
Yeah. And so what are you writing songs about right now? What's on your mind?
It's this, how we can find back this connection that we lost. And for me, I go out in nature a lot because I feel that it reminds me all the time when I forget.
Yeah.
I mean, we are nature, but we forget all the time. So, yeah. we really need to take care of each other and to see each other and to, yeah. And we've become so powerful. The amount of information that we have, and but we are not getting any wiser. So we are just, that needs to change.
People's attention span is getting shorter and shorter. So when you write a song, do you worry that you're going to go too long before, and they'll lose the thread that you're trying to communicate to them, and you better go to the next song? Do you worry about that? Are you writing 30-second songs now, or no?
I don't think so much about it, but yeah, I'm aware.
So how much of your next record is finished, or is it still all in the planning stages and you're just writing?
Yeah, we didn't record so much yet, but what can I say? I'm very excited.
And do you perform live? Do you do live shows?
I didn't for a very long time, but I am actually going to do a concert in September together with a Norwegian artist and musician, Stein Austrud. And I'm very excited about that.
Should be. And where's that going to be?
In Freiburg.
Where?
Freiburg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Germany.
And how did that concert get arranged? I mean, who's producing it?
I was invited. It's also a hi-fi show going on at the same time, but it will be in the Freiburg concert house.
And so at this show, have you walked around at all and with your record and played it in rooms?
I haven't walked around yet.
Are you going to do that?
I don't know if I dare. It's so much sound.
There is so much sound.
Yeah.
And there are certain artists who come to this show with their record and they go into the room and they'll play it and they'll sing along with their own record. Don't ever do that. Don't do that.
I promise you.
I'm not going to mention any names, but it's not a good look. I don't think it's good. If you bring a backing track and you want to sing to your back, that's better. But if you sing along to your own singing, it's not a good look. Okay. Is there anything else you would like to say to people that are here? Where is this record for sale, by the way? Is it?
Yes, it's for sale downstairs in Hall 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll be
And if you haven't heard it, it's a wonderful sounding record. And it sets a tone, it sets a mood. It engrosses you, and you have to listen to it. I don't mean it as an obligation. I mean that you'll want to listen to it because it's a very fine sounding record.
What do you think about the comparison between the 2020 one and this one?
And the other one? Well, I only did that a couple of times. But, the truth of the matter, my stereo was so great that it sounded good on both records. So, no, that's a audiophile joke. No, this had more clarity to it, more three-dimensionality. It was quieter. And with this record, the quiet parts have to be really quiet. Otherwise, you hear noise. So, yeah, it was better. It was more three-dimensional. The transients were clearer. Everything you'd want in a new pressing that's supposed to be better, it is. And I have to say that because he looks like he's very angry at me, and I have to. I needed him to smile. No, it is better. So if you don't have the first one, you just get this, and you'll have the hits, and you'll have.
Well, we actually did the whole Liberty album again, like
pressing. Yeah.
Recut and repressed.
And the truth of the matter is, since I have that already, I took out the one I have and compared it to this. I didn't, and I got sent the new one, but I said I have this already, so I'm not going to play this again because my time was limited. So when I get home, I'll do that comparison.
I'll give you the other records too, because we did Multiverse on vinyl. That's the first time, so that's kind of a release, I guess, and with Every Cell also. So now, I'll give that to you.
Is this on your own label or is this on?
Yeah, they're all on my own label. Yes.
And how did that come about? Were you going to put your own label's music on vinyl? And you said to yourself, I see vinyl is making this comeback. People want records. I think my record will sound really good on vinyl, and I want to put it for sale. I have to make it into vinyl. And then, so what do you do?
Well, when I first did the vinyl, I thought, like, people told me, you don't sell records. You just do it like for promotional reasons. So I thought, okay, let's just try and see what happens.
Who were those people?
So we just tried, and I was really happy that people wanted to buy it. Yes. So
And where is it for sale? Is it online? Is it at the usual online record sellers?
well, right, this one is only for sale here at the moment.
Special edition.
Yes. So, but my albums is for sale on my website, and yeah, at the moment it's not for sale so many other places, but it might be.
And since this is a special edition for the show, have you arranged to sit and sign autographs at a booth?
Yes, tomorrow and
I'm glad I asked you, otherwise you wouldn't have said anything, right?
tomorrow and Friday and Saturday I will be signing
Where?
in Hall 2.
Hall 2 is a very big place. Can you be more specific? Do I have to drag this out of you? Is that what I have to do?
Anyone here who can help me? In front of Hall 2.
Oh, right in the front. Okay. That's a lot easier than being someplace inside. Once you walk into Hall, have you walked around the inside of these halls? Because it's very easy to get lost.
Right.
And you won't find your way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll be outside of Hall 2. I think that's where last year they had a big Lamborghini and it was
Right.
crazy because it's not a car show, so it's good. And are they going to be having a system set up there where they'll be playing the record where you sign it, or you're just going to sign it? They should have a system.
So Sigve is doing demos.
Yeah, I'm doing demos. I'm playing the record, telling a little bit about the story, and doing A/B testing. We have done 3 versions of this now. We did one on DMM earlier for comparison, and yeah, I'm doing one 12 o'clock, one 1:30, and one 3 o'clock every day.
And is your handle ready to be signing and signing and signing? Are you ready for that? It's tough. You know. You're ready for that?
I'm ready.
Are you enjoying yourself here at this event?
I am very much. Yeah.
Does anybody recognize you from the record? I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to tell. But the other record you were more visible on, so.
Yeah.
Have they asked you for selfies yet? They will after they see. Now they know what you look like. You walk around like that. You'll get selfies. It's good. Charge them. Don't do it for nothing. Because I charge for mine.
You too. Yeah.
All right. I think we've covered this pretty well. And I think we should take questions from the audience if there are any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Askvik, for the insights. Let me ask something about your song Liberty. Perhaps, as you know, it's very, very popular. It's a heavy rotation on hi-fi shows. Today I heard it about 5 times. I hope you get the royalties of it. But it was very popular since some years ago already. But only after a while I learned about what the song is about. Perhaps you can share the background of the story and how did you write it? It would be nice. Thank you.
Good question.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, I've been very sad for the human race that we are so cruel to each other. And yeah, I'm sad that the song is so relevant still, and even more relevant. But as I said, I really think that that we can change this. But we do have to start with taking responsibility for each other or for ourselves. I mean, we have to take responsibility of what we do, how we act, and.
So hate is out in your world, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd like to know what's the difference, the real difference between your pressing and the earlier pressing.
Pressing is different in the cutting. Has the biggest does most with the record. The cutting is extremely important. So you need to have a good cutter to get a clean, good cut, and also get all use the space you have in the best way. And also we use stamper disc that do the plating, and they also, you have to have this perfect impression of the lacquer. So that's extremely important to get a clean, good record. Also, the way they are handling their nickel, how clean is the nickel, all those kind of stuff. So what we have done is to team up with all those who we think are really good at their trade, because it's handcraft. When it comes to the end, it's handcraft. And we try to take the best out of everyone. If you go to a big factory, then they have everything in-house. And they could have good people as well. Don't get me wrong. But if you take the best from each part of maybe Europe or US, then it's the A team, and then it's good. You get a better result because you want people that cares about the record. You need to care about the music. You need to care about the result.
Since you just have so small, so little songs on one side, you could use a linear speed, of course, going from the beginning to the to the end. Is that the case, or do you have a variable speed?
I don't know if I.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
Okay. In the old days, they had the speed, the cutting speed was linear.
But that got, as soon as there were computers of the most basic sort, that changed. So the pitch could change across the surface of the record, and there were preview heads on the tape machines. So that's been a problem that was solved a long, long time ago.
I know, but if you just have a couple of songs, you could keep it linear now. That's a question. If they might done that.
You could go back to a fixed pitch, but there's no real value to it as far as I'm concerned. So
could have been. That was just a question. If it was the case.
You know, one thing a lot of people don't think about is that a cutting system is the reverse of your playback system. And so what your stereo sounds like is what your stereo sounds like. And the mastering guy that's going to be cutting a record for you, his system sounds like what it sounds like. So it's going to be a matter of his lathe. It's going to be a matter of his cutting electronics and everything else that's involved in that side of it. So once you get to know what someone's chain sounds like, let's say Kevin Gray in California, you know the sound of his cutting chain. When you buy records that were cut by him, you have an idea what it's going to sound like because his cutting chain has a particular sound to it. So if someone's going to be producing a record like this, you want to know what the cutting chain of different people's systems sound like, and you can pick the one that is preferable or most useful and valuable for a particular record that you're cutting. So that's what a good producer will do.
Yes, that's true. We have tried many different cutting houses the years we have been pressing, and sometimes we send the same job to like 2 or 3 cutting houses without they knowing about it, and then we compare when it comes to us, and it's extremely different results people come up with. So you need to pinpoint the best, or whatever you like, or who cares the most, and or who gets. In our opinion, the most important thing is to get as close up to the master as possible when we get the test pressing.
And so when you make a record for High-End Munich 2025, you don't have to worry that this record's going to be played on a cheap turntable that's going to skip and jump when it gets to a lot of bass. You can put everything that's on that file into this record. So this was cut at a sufficiently high level to give it some oomph, and there's no dynamic compression involved. It's what's on the file is what's on this record, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, it skipped upstairs on a lot of turntables, but no, it didn't. It's nice to know. As a producer, it's nice to know that, right? You know who's buying these records.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a kind of a mixed emotions because you know that these people are very picky and demanding as well.
Yeah.
So you need to be on your toes. So but it's satisfying to have done this.
On the other hand, it's very important to realize that pressing a perfect record without a pop or a tick is almost impossible. It happens, but it's, and people return records for one pop or one tick. They should be playing CDs and forget about the whole.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay. Any more questions okay.
Hi. How do you start in the music world? When you were little, or you were doing something else?
Yeah, I did start to sing when I was little. It was my getaway because I always felt a little different, and I really loved to be able to run away into music and disappear and kind of float out of this world for a little bit. And again, back to that kind of connection with nature, and it's the same I feel in music, that it's like we're not just this physical body, we are so much more, and music really is that. Yeah.
Now, you weren't neglected as a child, were you? You have a happy childhood?
I have a happy childhood, yes.
And so all of this concern for the world is just the way you are.
I mean, are there anyone here that are not concerned for the world?
I don't care one way or the other. No. I care too much.
Yeah.
So when do you expect the next record to be finished and for sale?
Oh, I will not answer that
You won't
question.
answer that question.
We'll see.
You work on your own time and when it's ready.
Yeah.
So you don't have like a record company saying, honey, you got to get this record out in 6 months or you're fired. You don't have that problem.
My motto is always have good time, and also in braces behind that, time doesn't really exist, or it does, but it also doesn't. Yeah.
I like your motto. I wish I could live that way, but I can't live that way. Okay. Any other questions that we have?
Yes, I have a question. Where do you see the sense of making a vinyl record by recording it digitally, mastering digitally, and then putting on a vinyl compared to a complete analog recording mastering?
Okay. Well, I'm not sure that I can answer that question unless somebody was willing to spend the money to record a session in analog and digital and then turn it into a record. I do know that one of the records I worked on was Patrick Leonard's last record called It All Comes Down to Mood. It was a 9624 recording, and it was engineered and mastered by Kevin Killen, who you may know. He did all the U2 albums. Brian Ferry, he's a big, a top gun mastering engineer. And coming out on vinyl, he was very skeptical about it. He didn't understand what the value of it, and Patrick wanted it. Patrick Leonard produced Amused to Death for Roger Waters. He's got quite a track record. He wanted this record to be appreciated and experienced on vinyl. That was his intent. So that's what we did. And Kevin he didn't understand what it was. So we had an event in New York at a store, a listening event, on a really good system, and Kevin came to it, and he heard his record for the first time on vinyl. And when it was over, he said, boy, do I get it. I get what this is, because it was a different experience. I heard things I didn't hear before, which was really, he'd never heard a system of this resolving capability, for one thing. But he said, I understand why putting it on a record gives it a different quality that I really appreciated hearing. And he wasn't just saying that because he meant it. So I look at it kind of like the last plug-in, and people hate the word plug-in, but as you produce a record, you're always changing things. Different microphones, different amounts of compression, which is good in the production of a record. You mix a record, you add things, you do things, and you have a final production. And then to take that and cut a lacquer with it and make it onto a record gives it one last quality. And that quality could either make it better or make it sound the same, or make it sound worse. I think that's what it comes down to. And so another record that I produced was a 9624 file, and the vinyl sounds fantastic, and no one has any problems with it being on a record. It sounds it's wonderful. So that's, people say, oh, it has distortion, it has this problem, it has that problem. Whatever it is, it makes you want to listen to records. I know that for a fact. Some people, young people, when they hear a record for the first time, regardless of whether it's an analog recording or digital recording, hear a good record played back properly, there's something about it that they like and they get, and it makes you want to listen. Whether it's L-R distortion or whatever the people that hate this medium will say it's causing it, it doesn't matter. What matters is it gives you an experience that's extremely pleasing. And I'm sticking with that. And if you had said to me 30 years ago that the vinyl resurgence would happen the way it's happened, I wouldn't have thought it. I would have hoped vinyl would stay alive. And I used to sit around with my friend Joe Harley, the tone poet for Blue Note, and we'd say, what are we going to do to save vinyl? And if we could only get young people to listen to it, if they could only hear it, I think we could save it. And that's happened, and that's why vinyl sales keep going up, because young people have listening parties, and they get together, and they play records. And you were talking about social issues and people caring for each other. So if you have a record party and you have friends getting together and they bring over records, and women are doing this more than guys. Guys are mostly still fighting. But when the women get together, they bring their records and they have a listening party, and it's caring for each other, sharing records. It's the greatest. And then when they're finished playing the records, what they played doesn't show up on their phone. They don't have advertisements for what was, nobody's paying attention. There's nobody that can follow what you're doing. So it's a very private, personal thing, which is good. Have we solved any of the world's problems in this discussion? No. So you're a realist on top of everything. But it was good. Well, thank you very much for coming and putting up with me.
Thank you very much. So nice.
And thank you all for coming.